Hello everyone, I am here with a Far Cry 5 recording to talk about guns and a few other things. I'll get started with the other things. In Far Cry 5, you can trade the weapon you are holding for a weapon on the ground. When you do that, you unlock the weapon. When that is done, you can come back to a store, some of the times, to change your loadout. Certain missions will prevent you from being able to come back to a store. I will now share an observation with you. I have noticed that range does factor into damage. How much it factors into damage, I don't know. Okay, I will now talk about the pistol category. The starting pistol, the 1911, is an all-around great pistol. It has a good rate of fire and does a good amount of damage. I have used this pistol for the entirety of my playthrough. Given how varied missions are, I quickly realized that the idea of using the submachine guns, the Magnum, the sawed-off, or the grenade was not a great idea. The only other pistol that I would consider, other than the 1911, is the P226. This would be great for people who are not so great at aiming, as the rate of fire is 1 point higher. Essentially what you're doing is you're trading 1 damage for 1 rate of fire. Also, the magazine, I believe, is a bit larger. Alright, shotguns now. The M133 is the very first shotgun that you will encounter, and it can be found throughout the game. It's pump action, so it is extremely annoying to use. However, it can kill most fleshy things in a single shot. Due to the stats of these other shotguns, I didn't test them, but I did end up getting the SPAS-12. The SPAS-12 is a semi-automatic shotgun, and it is by far the best shotgun. With the appropriate perks, I was able to hit 10 to 15 meter shots and still get an instant kill. It is essentially a mobile cannon. So if you're going to go for short range combat, you would want to get that eventually. Alright, submachine guns. This one is a Ubisoft Club thing, so I didn't get a chance to toy with it. Due to the funds that I had at the time, I didn't pick up the MP5. I figured I would just wait for the MP5 SD. That's why my page looks like this. The stats for the MP40, I just don't understand them. You can see the difference right there. It has 3 less rate of fire than the MP5 and does less damage. So, or I'm sorry, less rate of fire. So you can see why I'm a little bit baffled by that. The other thing that I don't know is if there's some sort of game mechanic difference between the MP5 SD and just the MP5. The MP5 SD has a silencer built in, so maybe it gets some sort of bonus. I don't know. Either way, the MP5 SD is a great submachine gun. It can put a stream of bullets in a single line, so it's extremely accurate and extremely stable. Alright, assault rifles. The ARC is the very first assault rifle that you get. I don't understand the point in it. The rifle ammo is the most common, but I don't see the point in wasting precious rifle ammo on this. Let's see. I did try the 4570T. It is an extremely powerful rifle, but it's really hard to get ranged kills with it in comparison to the sniper rifles. On top of that, it only has 4 rounds in its tube, so it can be a bit difficult to use. I eventually gave up on it. The MS-16 is a great rifle. It's single shot only, just like the 45. But it can do a lot of damage and has a good sized magazine, so you won't be short on rounds to put into enemies. I also tried the AKM. This is actually a good rifle, despite its lower rate of fire than some of the other things that we have looked at. It's really easy to burst shot this, even when it's in full auto, because of how slow it fires. Because it does 6 damage, you can get a burst off and hit somebody either in the head or the torso and get them in that burst. So if you're looking for a fully automatic assault rifle that can do something, that would be a consideration. Okay, sniper rifles. The ARCL is going to be one of the first sniper rifles you run into. It uses rifle ammo just like the assault rifles. So this one can conserve your ammo early on. I don't see anything wrong with using it at the beginning, but as soon as you're able, I do recommend the 308 carbine. The 308 carbine is misleading, and I do blame Ubisoft for not detailing this kind of stuff. When I first saw that, I was thinking that it had its own ammo, but it actually just uses rifle ammo as well. It's the same thing as the ARCL and all these over here. The 308 carbine has insane range and accuracy, as well as doing a great amount of damage. The 308 carbine can kill most fleshy things in a single center mass shot. So if you aren't able to hit the head, just go center mass. The other great thing about this weapon is that it actually has access to the big scopes. The assault rifles don't have that luxury. The assault rifles can only use some of the scopes that are listed up here, the tactical, ranger, so on and so forth. But the reason that these big scopes are great is because ones like this one, the Advanced X scope, it says there in the description, will bring the reduced sway. I have noticed it does help. If you need something a bit longer than that, you can of course get the long range scope. That'll kick your range out to its maximum number of 10. So there's that. This was the other misleading thing. It actually can use a suppressor. The 308 carbine, I think, was this game's attempt at the M24. So when I saw that, I was thinking they were following the M24 in real life, which does not use a silencer to my knowledge. So I didn't think it would be possible. It also has an extended magazine upgrade. Now, on a sniper rifle, maybe like, yeah, it's probably not necessary, but one of the good things about extended magazines is it allows you to store ammo, essentially, is how you have to think about it. The more you can store, the more you can fit in your bag. So, let's just say you have a 5-round magazine, and you have 90 spare bullets. Well, you have 95 bullets total. But if you have a 10-round magazine and 90 bullets, now you have 100 rounds. So you have a 5-round profit. That's how you have to look at it. So, yeah, just go ahead and upgrade it. The only other sniper rifles on this list are the 50 calibers. Now, the 50 calibers will penetrate targets, meaning through and through. So if you line it up, you can actually hit 2 targets at the same time. Now, there's a difference in these 50 calibers. So this one has 8 accuracy and this one only has 7, but there is a difference in rate of fire. This one's 3, this one's 5. I went with the 5 rate of fire because of my experiences with the MS-16 and of course the pistol. It turned out to be a good decision. I used it quite a bit but eventually found that it was inefficient to keep up the 50. It just doesn't drop enough. But if you happen to have a 50, it can do a number on armored targets. Alright, final categories. So for machine guns, you'll run into the M60 pretty early on. This is more or less like using an AK. It has a slower rate of fire, but it can chunk damage. So it's a good machine gun to have. Because you can loot it, the only things you have to expend on is upgrades for it. Now, I did not see the M249 anywhere in the game. That's something I purchased. This is essentially a souped up version of the MP5. It has an incredible rate of fire, but its damage is not as high as the M60. So the M249 is more suited towards short to mid-range combat, whereas the M60 is more suited towards medium to long range due to the fact that it can put out an impressive amount of damage if given time. If you're not given time, then, well, this is going to make your day hell. Okay, there is a difference in bows. The compound bow is what you will find throughout the game and early on. Now this one I did modify the recurve bow. I think it's a 7.7 if I remember right. Well, either way, the range is 7 on that one. This runs a range of 6. Both have the same damage. This one has a slight bit higher rate of fire, so I would not invest in the recurve bow unless you just have money to dump. The reason for bows in this game, as far as I'm concerned, is for hunting. If you need to make cash, you can go to any one of the hunting grounds and try to get a few hides to sell. When you use a bow, you get more resources, or at least a higher resource chance, out of the animal you kill. If you use a gun, more than likely you'll either get damaged hides or very little hides. So that's the bow's only purpose in life. Okay, then finally we have the special weapons and the launchers. The first one you run into is the RPG-7. You will find this in the game, although it is pretty rare. Its projectile is very slow, so you have to lead a moving target quite a bit. It is pretty obnoxious to do. Eventually, you'll be able to get the RAT-4. The RAT-4 does have a modification that will allow this to lock on to targets. So there's no leading involved. As far as I've been able to tell, the missiles do not break lock. You will find the flamethrower in the game. It can do an incredible amount of damage very quickly, but the major drawback is in this game, there's quite a bit of things in the world that will stay on fire, like trees and such. So if you're not careful, you'll find yourself making a ring of fire, literally. I did not find this magnopulsar, or at least this person, so I don't know what the deal with it is, unfortunately. And the other one here is just the prestige. That's something I haven't been able to figure out what prestige means. But, yeah, that's the gist of the weapons. So, now that you kind of understand the weapons, I'll go ahead and finish up by giving you some loadout ideas. I think the pistol is permanent, like it can't be changed out. I've certainly tried. So if you unlock all of the perks, you'll have 3 additional holsters. I did find that a good loadout for me was the 308 Carbine, the AKM, and the SPAS-12 or the MP5 SD. It really depended on what I thought was going to happen with the quests that were ahead. But generally speaking, the MP5 SD got more use than the SPAS-12. If I knew that I was going to be up against a ton of armored units, then I would bring in the RAV4. There was some ways for me to kind of tell that I would be in an armor situation. That's how I handle it. But yeah, anyways, that's the weapons for you. I'm going to go ahead and end recording and start on the next one.